This is Ricky Regalado, CEO and founder of Rozalado Services. Welcome to Cleaning and Cocktails.
Hi, I'm Battista. I'm president of CityWide Building Maintenance. We're a 37-year-old company located in Itasca, Illinois. We clean about 15 million square feet a night, and we are a total facility solution provider.
My name is Juan, and I'm the owner of Spotless in Chicago. So we have a little bit over 170 employees currently. And I think the biggest thing that we love about the company is the technology that we use that allows us to stay in communication with everyone.
Hello everyone, my name is Saul Marchan. I'm the founder and CEO of Blue Commercial Cleaning here in Chicago. Our goal is basically to find solutions for every client, and our mission is to really truly enhance the image of every facility we touch. Thanks guys, enjoy the show.
All right, so welcome everybody to Cleaning and Cocktails, episode 3. In light of the pandemic and COVID-19 and just the unprecedented times that we're in, I still want to keep the podcast going with my guys here. So again, we got Juan from Spotless, we got Saul from Mark from CityWide. Thank you guys for jumping on. I know we're all pretty fucking slammed right now. But yeah, everybody show your drinks, man. Where's your drink? As you can see, I don't have Corona. I have Modelo. Look at Mark's gonna go back to his secret stash, 1942. Dude.
Gonna pull out that aged whiskey, huh?
I mean, come on, bro.
Wow.
See,
Look at that, see?
This is tough times we're in, guys. All right, so obviously the topic that I want to touch on, which I think all of us have been doing nonstop messaging on, is the COVID-19 virus, right? A lot of questions, a lot of things to touch on. The first and number one is, and Mark, we'll start with you, is tell us, how is it affecting your business? We'll start with the pros. What are the pros? And then we'll go into cons.
So the pros are, this is where we separate the men from the boys, right? We have to look at this as companies that set the trends and companies that are leaders in Chicago to really stand out and set ourselves apart from people who can't service and step up to the plate at the level that we can right now. We have customers, we're gaining business right now because customers that we do business for, they have other branches where we're doing a great job for them, but their branches are not doing well. And we're kind of stepping up to the plate and stepping in and making a difference for their other branches. Okay.
Juan, what about you?
For the most part, I'd say we're net positive. From a daily contract cleaning standpoint, we've had a couple small locations, pause service for 2-3 weeks. This Monday, because this week or last Friday is when they issued the order, the stay-at-home order. But it's very few. I mean, I think right now it's like 5, and they're all really like smaller locations. Everything else, we're doing, or we're offering additional disinfecting services. For example, there was one facility that they really need high dusting, and they just haven't had the room in their budget to do it. So we said, you know what? Since you're shutting down, we'll take care of that for you. That way, that cleaner, can do it in sections. So they're happy about that. It's actually going to be a net cost savings to them. We're just, trying to be creative, working with our customers. A lot of other buildings, we're telling them like, hey, to disinfect the desk, you've got about 5 to 10 minute dwell time depending on what you're using. So really disinfecting those desks, keyboards, and all that stuff is very, very time consuming. So we can have that cleaners take care of sections. So again, being creative and finding ways to, keep things going. At the end of the day, the way, obviously with contracts, they still have to pay you month to month. But, if someone needs a break, we're helping them out. But again, we haven't even had to get to that situation. Everyone's been, pretty understanding. And so far it's good.
Okay. Saul, what about you?
It's good. I think on Mark's point, you're separating yourself from the pack now, right? So for us, it's more being a resource as always, but truly spreading the good word as well. the one thing we've been getting a lot of calls on is not necessarily just businesses, but also individuals on how to protect that area. And we give them the right information here moving forward. So that way, if we can't help everyone out, at least if we can assist and save, people's health out there, right? Maintain facilities clean without us being, that's a big plus for us. Next week looks to be a very busy week for us. And so we're looking forward to it. And it really, for us, really gets everyone talking with each other and now innovating a little more, right? New techniques, new forms of cleaning. And really, again, just going back to what Mark said, separating yourself from the pack. So we're very excited, and the opportunities are there.
Yeah. I mean, I share the same sentiment with all you guys. I think what it's given us the opportunity to is to step up, right? This is our time to shine in the sense of now people are seeing the value of clean. Not that they never should have seen it before, but this is a whole new light, right? It's a scary situation. People, not that people are germaphobes or anything, but it's the unknown, right? It's like, man, I thought my cleaning company was cleaning, or I thought our places were clean. So it's not that they weren't, but it's, which we'll talk about in a little bit. It's now let's talk about disinfection, right? Now let's talk about not the days of spray and wipe. I think are going to be definitely gone for a moment. I know Juan, me and you were talking. It's good. Some people are going to buy in. Some people are going to go back to the old ways. But this is where we can share the true knowledge, like you were saying, Saul, to our clients and to friends. You're right. I'm getting phone calls from friends left and right. Like, Rick, what disinfectant should I use? How should I be wiping? What's dwell time, Rick? This term dwell time. What do you mean? I'm like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Cleaning is cool, man. Cleaning is cool.
And we're fortunate, right? Because I know this is a little bit off of a question that we have here, but I want to talk about how it is to feel like an essential business, right? We are considered an essential business. We're at the forefront fighting the virus, right? Think about our employees. They're risking I don't want to say risking their lives, but they've got some emotional setbacks on, should I go to a place that was confirmed case? Do I step out and clean 5 days a week when everybody's stay at home, right? So let's talk about your employees. I know I was supposed to talk about cons, but I think this is a good time to switch to our employees, right? Like, Saul, how do you handle when an employee says, I don't want to go into work? Is there a way we can not persuade them, but what do you think are good topics to speak on for our employees and our staff that they want to follow the stay at home, but in our business, we're essential. We have to still go work.
Yeah. So luckily, knock on wood, we really haven't had anyone say no yet. But it definitely goes back to the type of culture you build, right? The type of trust you have with your entire company. I think the conversation should be an easier transition. Because at the end of the day, as we always talk about, we are cleaning that cares. So for us, it's not necessarily just going out there disinfecting and cleaning at this moment in time. We're out there trying to save, lives, right? So if we can go out there and do service and provide some kind of information, through our staff, right, through our frontline guys, and provide a resource, a service out there, the overt benefit is just tremendous, right? If you can say, hey, we save 1%, right, of the population, whether it's through telling, Joe Schmo the information that's needed to truly disinfect the facility, and then he spreads that word around, then we've done our job. So I always look at them, as we always say, as being technicians. We're just more than just cleaners. We have to be that resource that gives out information as well, and truly be that resource and that partner to lean on.
Yeah. Juan, what about you with the staff? I mean, especially maybe even the supervisors too. Let's talk on, that's our right hand. That's our left hand. These are the people that they have to step up to the plate if the employee does decide to not go in, right?
Yeah, so from my perspective, I think,
one thing, actually, I wanted to touch on when you text messaged us. I thought that was a great thing to bring up here is what did you say you're doing for some of your staff out there too, as far as those?
Yeah, so supervisors, my folks out there doing disinfecting, spraying services, office staff. So anyone that obviously is, I really can't lose right now because we're so busy. And the thing is, for us, honestly, we've been so busy that I almost want to turn away business that's coming in. But at the same time, I've been able to use that opportunity to, people that I've had to kind of that a few places that paused, I've been able to reallocate them. So logistically, it's a lot of work for even the office, for everyone right now, right? So, and I kind of take that as a responsibility because, as opposed to these people being laid off, we're able to be fortunate enough to keep hiring these people. And I've actually hired, I don't even know how many people I've hired the last couple of weeks. So to me, being able to do that is almost a responsibility. So even though I kind of wanted to back off, even like last week, Saturday, Sunday, working 16-hour days. And so even my people out there are working long days, right? So, my thing was, all right, I got to make sure their immune system's strong. So I'm doing vitamin C drips for them. So like you can go to IV places that do cold and flu packs. So like, you can do all kinds of stuff, right? So I'm not a medical professional, but I don't want to give any advice on that end. But there is a lot of evidence that shows vitamin C helps significantly. So we're doing vitamin C where it goes straight into your bloodstream. In addition to that, I'm giving them all, big bottles of vitamin C so they can keep taking them at home. So, and that's what I'm trying to do for my employees. I was able to secure masks, before this whole stuff started. So I think the other thing is because we've been able to provide masks, we're showing people, hey, wear 2 gloves because that way you don't cross-contaminate, showing them all these different techniques. I think they feel confident and happy that we're taking care of them because I think they're seeing relatives, friends at other companies, or they're running into people that are doing the same thing as us without the PPE, and they're like, man, our company is really taking care of us. So I think that is really helping them. And the reality is, these folks are seeing family members, friends, everyone, not working, not making any money right now. So my experience so far is almost everyone is just fortunate to keep working. I do have a couple folks, like, one lady who came out of cancer remission a couple months ago. So her not wanting to work is completely understandable, right? Oh, yeah. So, so things like that, right? We also have to, be conscious of those folks that are at risk as well, right? So, we're out there preventing, so we don't want to expose someone that is at risk to additional risk that they shouldn't be involved in, right?
Mark, what's your, do you have any add-on with the employees as far as, PPE, good point, Juan. I'm going to talk about that next.
I think it's a big time. It's a great team building time. Who's going to really step up to the challenge, and internally in your companies, you're going to find some leaders right now. And that's important. You're really going to identify who's able to step up to the plate and be really valuable as far as an employee. Doing things for your team together, Juan mentioned people are working 16-hour days, stop out to the jobs, go see your people, buy them lunch, whatever, just small things like that go a long way, let them know that they're appreciated.
Pass that lead on to me.
Yeah.
So, you touched on something that I want to segue into, because I feel like all 4 of us have done this I did it without even thinking anything of it, but I feel like we've all stepped up to the plate too, where, we're showing each other messages of we're right back in the field again, right? Like, let's talk about how are cleaning companies fighting COVID-19? Well, we know, there is no cure, there is no secret sauce yet, but there are disinfectants that are very, very powerful and can help in the claiming of killing the virus, right? So we got, I took it from you, Mark, as far as virucide disinfecting spraying services, right? We've got the fogging services. We've got the ESS, the electrostatic spraying services, chemicals. Saul, I'll let you get into that. But like, this is a new service that's not new, right? Because I've seen this before. I've seen these machines have been out. This type of service has been out. But I know I stepped up in our company with my owners and one of my new guys that stepped up, that all of a sudden this guy's a professional backpack spraying specialist, jumped to it without thinking twice. But we got to lead by example, right? There's a perfect time for us to lead by example because the service that we're doing, not everybody's been trained for. So, Saul, jump into the chemical part for us because, out of all of us, I know you and Juan and everybody really knows chemicals, but give us the difference of some of the chemicals that are out that are EPA approved, are not EPA approved. Give some recommendations, if you feel confident in giving some, and then, everybody give some info on the machine or system that they're using, so we can give the listeners some help in the services that they should be doing.
Yeah. So for us, we primarily, and we actually only use currently is a Pro Restore MediClean germicidal solution. And so I actually got on the phone directly with the actual chemical technician and gave me some great insight as far as, what needs to be done, what can't be done, and so forth. So I didn't even know that the chemical we use can be used at a 60-second dwell time. That's pretty quick. That's pretty efficient. We're still taking that 5 to 10 minute route. We don't really want to risk anything. Obviously, this is coming from from that chemical technician. He basically stated that the big thing, one thing that we've taken to heart is making sure that you wet the surface thoroughly and ensuring that you give it enough dwell time so it kills obviously any bacteria, germs that are on those surfaces. So for us, we don't have the luxury to have the electrostatic machine, the Clorox machine, the Karcher machine, which we're still waiting on, right?
Yeah.
So we're using spray mister. Yeah.
We're going to be waiting for weeks.
Exactly. So right now we're using pump sprayers and then we're using backpack sprayers. So for us, it's being it's actually worked out very well. It'll continue to work well. And once these other machines come in that actually make it a little bit more effective and efficient, I think, in a timely manner, will help out and be the support. But I think right now for us, only chemical I'm using, and I stocked up pretty heavy, so I've got a lot of it, is that Pro Restore germicidal disinfectant, and we're using primarily all sprayers at this moment. I do have some foggers, but those foggers we'll utilize if it's big open space, 60, 70, 80,000 square foot facilities where we really need to get out there and just do heavy duty. But right now, some of the facilities that we're finally getting are anywhere from 10, 20, 30,000 square feet. We've had a few that we're looking to do about 60, another 60, 70,000 square feet. So we haven't gotten yet to the big boy status like Mark over there doing 500,000 square feet? Man, that's great.
Yeah, we did. We just finished one. I just got
give me some excitement, man. Give me some energy. Jesus. Jeez.
Hey, it's his birthday, right?
Well, we're tired, Rick. We've been working 7 days a week, 16-hour days. He calls on a Friday.
One thing that's really interesting, and I want to take a minute to shout out to our suppliers, man. I mean, Seaway Supplies, we use these guys. They're a family-owned company. Rick knows Tom. I mean, these guys have been on it day in and day out. Seaway Supplies in Chicago. I mean, thank you so much, because without these guys, man, daily deliveries. This guy might as well set up an office here. We can.
That's where all the supplies are going, because when I call, they're out of stuff.
That's because I bought everything. Come over here. I'll sell it to you. I said, you were here. You saw it. So,
Juan's got his own distribution going, though.
Yeah, I mean, you come and see the warehouse. Rick saw it. He knows what's up. So, but I mean, God bless these guys, man. These guys are working just as much as we are, and in some cases even harder, because they're fighting the same battle. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I have customers coming to me, and we do a lot of banks. We do quite a bit. And I can tell you, I've never seen anything like what we're seeing right now. We're seeing, oh no, we're only gonna clean 3 days a week, 6 days a week, new specs, wipe the whole place down. Yeah. I mean, it's just like that, and it's because they're in public spaces. I've never seen anything like it, but it's good, and it's hectic too. But with the supply portion of it, I mean, we're needing so much just to keep up with it, and Seaway's really been there for us.
So, all right. So that's a good part because Juan, I'm going to get to you on I want you to talk about the Clorox 360. But Mark, I know you're using Victory, right? You're using the Victory handhelds.
Yeah, we are. We got backpacks and handhelds. Yeah. And they've been good. Victory's been really good. Nothing is broken yet. Knock on wood. We've done some really small spaces and we've done some really large spaces. We just got done with a job today, 325,000 square feet. And we used like 5 pieces of equipment, and I mean, we sent 5 people out, but we're covering 10, 12,000 square feet an hour, and people just like the branding. It's, it shows well. I did a presentation to a school board. We're going to actually do the school next week. And I mean, we're talking a lot of square footage, but it's held up really well for us. I even went to the length, and I told you, Rick, I was supposed to, we do a company that's right here in the suburbs, and they're the biggest ambulance company in Chicago. And he was positive he could get his stuff, and he's still waiting.
Yeah.
I was just lucky to stumble on what I stumbled on, and
yep.
So
Juan, talk about the Clorox 360, and then throw in the little story on the Catholic Charities that you told me about. That how it's a client, but you're helping out more so than, again, I would think normal cleaning companies do.
Yeah, you know what? So with that is honestly right now we're being very blessed, right? And as opposed to being shut down like restaurants, we're out there, and it's a blessing. So with that said, I mean, I think we were all discussing. You brought it up, Saul brought it up, Mark. Like we should find ways to give back. And so one of the accounts that I take care of, they have 7 food pantries. Serving the needy, and so we're providing disinfecting services for them once a week, free of charge. There's another, older facility for senior citizens and care workers, and so there people are actually sick. They have coughs, so the workers are out of masks. They can't get any till end of May. So we're getting them 5,000 masks as a free donation. But going back onto what Mark mentioned in terms of suppliers. And so we work with North American, and, to everyone out there, having good relationships with the distributors is important, because at the end of the day, times like this, you need them, right? But also just kind of being proactive. I see a lot of people kind of, oh, is this machine $500? Is it $700? Is it too much? Like, at the end of the day, like we have to invest into our business. Like I've had Clorox 360 machines before this pandemic. We're also adding in a little bit of UOV cold fogging with it. So it really depends on the space. And, a couple weeks ago, I ordered 10 handheld electrostatic machines, similar to the Victories, plus a sprayer, backpack sprayer. And, that I think was about a little bit over $20,000 on top of all the stuff I already have. And so, you can't, you really have to invest into your business, right? And so I know a lot of people are reluctant to put money back in. So, those are things we have to think about. From a disinfectant standpoint, gloves, I've ordered, I'm super stocked to get me through the end of August, if not longer. Why? Because, as this supply shortage is happening, it's only going to get worse. General Motors literally just came across the tape. They got hit with the DPA, which is Defense Production Act, where the White House basically says you can only produce for us and whoever we deem appropriate. So you cannot get anything. Then that's what's happening with distributors right now, and all these companies that are making disinfectants or antibacterial products or anything that the government deems necessary and important to fight this, they're getting DPAs. And so if the factories can't get that product to the distributors, then you're never going to get it, right? So unless you're a hospital, and even they're having a hard time, because unfortunately, we won't get into politics, but if the government is taking it, they're probably putting it in warehouses, and by the time they get it out, it'll probably be too late. So
yeah, okay, all right. Well, yeah, I want to take a minute right here and talk about. So I'll talk about the methods and processes, right? But I want you guys to throw your 2 cents in too. Where again, let's think about the audience that some people are trying to figure out ways to create more revenue. They're trying to figure out how to stay busy. Some aren't as blessed as us as far as I'm in healthcare, right? So 60% of my business, they're running every day. Nothing's changed. Actually, asking for more services. So what we're doing is a little bit of the backpack spraying, like Saul said. We do have the foggers, but our first method, and then again, I'm gonna lay this out, but I want you guys to add to it. First and foremost, PPE. So Steven, if you can, when this goes live, put the 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Where PPE, if you guys agree, is an N95 mask, but I'd suggest the P100 if you're doing, a decontamination spraying service.
For sure, we're using them.
Gloves, putting 2 on. That's a great point, Juan. The right chemical, right? I mean, a few that I know that we have is Diversity Oxiver, Spartan Halt. There's many that are being approved every day. So, so the microban, like you said too. Eyewear, eyeglass. It could be a shield, or you should put the eyewear that covers everything, right? As far as your whole, the front end of your face, and kind of maybe even suctions to your cheeks. Clothes. Be ready to wash the clothes when you get home, right? There's a lot of these tips that I've been told now is, Rick, it could be on your clothes for 4 to 6 hours. Wash your clothes if you got a family you're coming home to. It could be on your shoes for, 4 to 5 days. There's a lot of things that we should continue to share, because we're out there doing these services, and you're putting yourself in danger really to get the virus. But I'll jump into the process, right? I mean, here's my process for you guys is we go in with like a team of 3 to 4. One person's job is to spray, whether it's with the backpack spray or just individual sprayers. We put a timer on 10 minutes. That person follows that first person 10 minutes after and just starts wiping everything down. We go around again with the backpack sprayer to just saturate everything, right? And here, don't be afraid of hitting electronics. You could hit electronics, right? I seen you, Juan, spray the shit out of your iPhone the other day. You can do these things, but don't be afraid. And then after that, we wipe again. And then this is the one where we use a fogger, but I have come to realize I don't want to use a fogger in closed spaces, in an enclosed environment, because it kind of pushes out stuff, right? Not to say you're not doing a good job at disinfecting, but I agree with Saul that a fogger should be used in more of an open environment to get the areas that you can't get with a rag, right? Or with the microfiber rag, or with the backpack sprayer. But then all that said and done, let it dwell at the end, walk out, discard any clothing that you need and equipment. But that's my process, right? I mean, you guys give me a little bit more of the ESS sprayers. I haven't been using those yet. So if anybody's got some tips on those, please share. Anybody want to jump in on the ESS machine?
So, on the ESS side, we have the 360s. And so, going back into cold foggers, there's different kinds of cold foggers. Then there's the heat foggers. And so you could use the UOV cold fogger. The only thing is you have to be more directed as opposed to fogging up the whole room. So again, there's different ways to do it, and talk to your distributors, work with them, call the companies up, get the right information. I'm not the ultimate resource on that, but going back to the like 360s or the big 3, the ESS sprayers, what's useful with those is it's the same thing, right? It's targeted. The 360 has a compressor, so it actually pushes the product onto the surface. And with that, in a traditional space that's not too cluttered, you could get about 18,000 square feet per hour production. So again, it's sometimes it's a productivity thing more so than it's a better product than a smaller product, if you will, right? Just because one's 6,000 and one's 2,000 doesn't mean that the 6,000 one is better. It just means you're going to get better productivity, or terms, right? So, but we like them. Honestly, they're really nice tools. You get really nice and even coverage. I've had my guys actually spray me down afterwards. And man, it doesn't look like it, but it fully covers you. So, and what the other thing, guys, is be responsible when you get home. I set up a bin at the front of the house. As soon as I walk in, my shoes, my clothes, everything just goes in there. Keys stay in my coat, and then my phone I disinfect. So, things, for us, and then just people in general, right? So like you guys said, it can stay in your clothes. So in our process, it really depends on the situation we're going in, right? But if you want to have the most protection, you should have coveralls, head to toe, ideally. because you just don't know, right? Even if you're going into a case where there is not a confirmed case, it could still be there, as those numbers keep going up, right? It's just going to become more and more common, right? So, and then in terms of taking that off, obviously you have to follow proper downing off procedures and proper downing on procedures, So I'll talk about that a little bit. One of the things that we'll do when we're taking it off is they step into a trash container. They actually step into it, and then they start taking it off. But before that, my guys will spray them. So they'll spray them, they'll spray each other basically. And then they step into the bag, and then they take it off directly into the bag. And then, Saul mentioned, make sure that they're, tying off, the coverall to the gloves, so there's nothing open. So, really, at the end of the day, the more protection you have, the better. And, and these things are also things we have to explain to the clients, right? It's expensive from a PPE standpoint. And right now, getting the PPE is impossible. So that's another thing. So,
Yeah.
I think that one thing that you talked about, Juan, is stair cycle. I don't know, maybe you want to touch on that a little bit. I mean, I think Stair Cycle's got a great program. I know that that's something that, can be sold to customers as part of the program. And I think it's important. I think, like you said, it's kind of like doing clean rooms. You have to enter a certain way, you have to exit a certain way, and there's always parameters in place in the ways that you have to do things every time the same way,
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
And then going back onto the mask, if you're going into actual known contaminated case, really the recommendation should be a full face respirator with positive airflow. Problem is right now, unless you have them, you're not going to be able to get them because the government has issued DPA orders on that as well. So 3M, all of them, they're not going to any distributors, government only. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Another, we did touch on the processes, the different new type of business, the smaller businesses or cleaning companies that are losing a lot of business can go back now and offer. But I think you guys have all been really touching on points of, we got to be professional, right? We got to be professional. We've got to educate. This is not a time, I forgot who joked about it, but there's almost like a wild, wild west type of feeling sometimes with some of the companies that, you got to be careful on what we're offering, how we're approaching the services, because it's a liability for the future, right? Like this is a time to shine, but to shine in a positive way. We can't take advantage of a situation. We got to make sure we're doing the right things. And that's one point I wanted to touch on, which Juan, you're doing with us. Mark, I know we've seen this in the group, is since it is hard to get PPE right now, like what are ways we can unite, collaborate, and buy like a buying group type of scenario, right? Where we can help each other. Because I got to tell you, my clients, Mark, just like you, I've got one of my largest clients. He wants to buy through us versus the way he's buying because he's like, Rick, you're able to get things that I can't get right now. So yeah, shout out, my suppliers, Supply Works, Home Depot. But I mean, we all have good supplying partnerships and relationships, but we sometimes have to think outside the box to say, how do we buy in bulk, not just for us, but for our clients? So, I mean, do you guys have any creative ways additional ways on PPE or local? For us in the Midwest and in Chicago, have you guys seen anything that has resulted in something positive for you guys?
Yeah. So I'll touch on that. One of the most important relationships we have is with our clients, and sometimes our clients come to us, but sometimes we can go to our clients as well and say, maybe they're buying in a bulk situation. Like I know our school districts, they all bought in bulk, and it's something that we kind of benefited from, and we teamed up with them, and we kind of gave them some services, and they gave us what we needed, and we're kind of just scratching each other's backs here. And then there's some clients, it's funny that they buy one case of toilet paper a month and they want 10. So it's one of those things where it's like relax, man. Like I think everyone's ordering should stay the same for your clients. You should try to keep your ordering patterns the same, because when your one client, let's say, does take 10 boxes of toilet paper a month versus the one client who takes one box who wants 10, you have to treat them all accordingly.
Okay. So what you got? What do you?
Yeah, as far as like bulk, and I mean, I'm reaching out to Juan. I got Juan over here. I've already told him, seriously, like, we got to lean on each other, right? I just don't have the distribution capabilities that Juan is building up over this. So I honestly, you might be seeing Juan distribute, but no, in all honesty, that's really how I look at it now. Is I'm calling, fellow peers, obviously, that can assist with the efforts. Because at the end of the day, guys, I keep pushing this with our team, is that let's get away from the mentality of cleaning and revenue. That's very important, right? But there's a bigger picture now involved. And so how do we get to the masses out there and take what we can to alleviate these issues out there? And if Juan says, hey, I can get maybe 300-400 masks for you, Saul, then man, by all means, I'm all for it. So that's kind of how we're taking the approach right now. Unfortunately, as you guys know, distributors right now are just in chaos as well. They're also being told that, hey, listen, nothing goes out to cleaning companies like ourselves at the moment. But the other day I just read that you've got nurses out there now making face masks out of cloths. So what they do is, we started looking, people are making cloth masks with filters now. So it's, again, I go back to what I said earlier, is innovation, right? You got to bring a solution. You just can't what you have and what you don't have. You got to keep moving forward and be proactive. Listen, this virus is going to be seasonal. They just said it. It's going to be seasonal. It's going to be a problem. So we have.
Wait, was that a cough mark?
What's that?
Hey man, leave me alone, bro.
Oh.
It ain't nothing. It's nothing. Nothing to worry about.
He's coughing. Watch that guy. No, but no. So anyhow, going back to that, just making sure that we keep looking ahead, because this problem is only the beginning, and it's going to continue for the next couple of years.
All right, guys. Well, I mean, I'd love to keep on talking too, but I feel like we've touched on some great topics here. This could be an ongoing discussion, but I want to thank you guys for again, your time, especially now more than ever. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for the notes. Thanks for the tips. I just want to give a cheers to everybody, right? On a Friday night. Everybody do what do we got? Virtual cheer here? Oh, Lord, this guy pulls out the whole bottle.
Hey, man. You guys have been drinking the whole time. Cheers.
What do you got there, Juan?
Woodford. This is double oaked. My daughter got it for me for Christmas. So.
All right, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you guys again.
You know what, guys? Before we log off, I actually want to share a quick resource.
You got muted.
Sorry about that. I was saying that before we log off, I want to share a quick resource for everyone. And this can be for your cleaners, or it could be for other folks as well. So the website is stopcovid.co. So stopcovid.co, C-O. And so basically what you do is you send a text, subscribe, and every day it's sending you, questions, and you have to reply. And it gives you, it's in Spanish as well. I don't know if there's other languages, but it's a good resource to give to our cleaners for additional training and reminders, I think, because, while we know this is serious, I think some people are not taking it as seriously as they should. So again, prevention is, the best line of defense right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Juan. And you know what? To add to that, what I wanted to start sharing with everybody too is, as these episodes go live on the YouTube channel and on the podcast, I know what I can do, and if you guys can do the same, is we'll start sharing some template documents, helpful, one pagers on how we are relaying education to the clients, and then how we are, communicating to our staff. Because all this knowledge and power is going to help the industry as a whole just, again, be better and better, guys. So I thank you guys. Let's keep pushing. Again, we'll be talking every day, sharing ideas, sharing knowledge. So thank you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.